I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? You guys will be happy.
I think you all are going to love this, and that's not something that I would normally say in a video that ultimately is about Israelis and Palestinians. But in this case, Egyptian comedian Bassem Youssef was on Piers Morgan's show Uncensored and did a fantastic job. Both a fantastic job breaking down the conflict, but also near the end, I'm going to show you, catches Piers Morgan in a lie. And I'm going to give you the context for that lie as well. First, I want to show you the first question that Bassem Youssef answered here and just the tone that he set for the entire discussion.
First of all, what is your reaction to what happened on October the 7th?
Oh, it was terrible, of course. I mean, we kind of get our news kind of also secondhand because, you know, my wife's family, they live in Gaza. They have cousins and uncles there, and their house also was bombed. We haven't been able to communicate with them for the past 3 days. Communication are lost. So we don't know actually what is the... how are they doing? But you know, we're used to that. I mean, it's just like it's very repetitive. We're used to that. We're used to them being bombed every time and moving from one place to the other. You know, it's just like those Palestinians. They're very dramatic. Israel killing us, but they never die. I mean, they always come back. You know, they're very difficult to kill. Very difficult people to kill. I know because I'm married to one. I tried many times, couldn't kill her.
I mean, there's a dark humor there, and I understand why. Because
no, it's not dark humor. I try to get to her every time, but she uses our kids as human shields. I can never take her out.
Watching Piers Morgan there struggle to try and respond to Bassem Youssef's satire is just wonderful. He does not know what to say. Bassem Youssef, you know, the first half of the question, or the first half of his answer, I'm thinking, oh, because he's going to take this seriously. He's not going to, you know, try and use comedy to communicate this issue. But then halfway through, it takes a turn. And this goes to how brilliant Bassem Youssef is. His ability to find a comedic way to communicate and contextualize an ongoing atrocity. I mean, he's second to none. This man is, every time I've ever seen him, in any appearance, in any of his commentary, he's always making a fantastic point and doing it in a way that is often easily digestible for the masses, which is what comedy does. Comedy is able, I think it's the best vehicle for educating people and discussing how, you know, his wife uses his children as human shields. God damn. I can't fault Piers Morgan there for, you know, twisting in his seat. I would have a hard time responding to that as well. But I got several clips. So let me get to this next one that gets to, so Ben Shapiro was a previous guest on Piers Morgan, and I think we all know where Ben Shapiro is on this issue. He's very clear in, it doesn't matter how many civilians the Israeli government kills, it's all justified. Here is Bassem Youssef's response.
Well, frankly, I don't believe in proportionate response to terrorism. I believe that the way that you stop terrorism is with wildly disproportionate response. That doesn't mean in terms of targeting civilians. It means in terms of killing as many terrorists as humanly possible and allowing them to dictate the terms of engagement by hiding behind civilians in areas that they are supposedly responsible for means that the only option for Israel is to surrender to Hamas's hatred of its own citizens, its willingness to use its own children as human shields. No country worth its salt could ever do that.
Now, that is substantively different to what you said he said, right? He's talking there
but
specifically about Hamas terrorists.
I agree with him. The thing is, the question is, what is a proportionate response? Because it has been different from one tier to another. So if you look to this graph, for example, this is the death of Israeli and Palestinians, and it's changing from one year to year. It's like fluctuating like crypto. So my question is today, what is the going rate today for human lives. I mean, 2014 was a great year for Ben Shapiro. 88 Israelis were died, and there was 2,329 Palestinians killed on the other side. That is one Israeli for 27 Palestinians. That is a very good exchange rate. What I'm saying is, what is the exchange rate for today? So you guys will be happy. That's my question.
Well, it's not me. It's not me, guys. I'm not on either side.
No, not you. Like when I say you guys, I say like people on the other side of that. I know that you don't think like that, Piers. You're one of the good guys.
You're one of the good guys, Piers. I'll get to. I mean, he's clowning Piers Morgan here. Piers Morgan is on every side of this issue, regardless. You know, depending on who he's talking to, he changes his positions. But what Piers Morgan does know how to do is he knows who to invite on to have a entertaining exchange, and that's what's going on here. But man, Bassem Youssef there, the going exchange rate. It's so brilliant and so sad at the same time that I don't know how to respond. I'm having conflicting emotions because it's both a hilarious way to frame it, but also devastating. So I don't have the updated graph that Bassem Youssef was showing there. If someone has it, by the way, or you know where it is, post that in the comments on YouTube. I'll put it under sources on my video. But I have this one from 2021, and this is typically how it's gone. It is, and as I've discussed in previous videos, the power imbalance is very clear. A lot of these Palestinians that were killed are, of course, in Gaza, but a lot of them aren't. A lot in the West Bank are also killed, or throughout Israel, because of the apartheid that is ongoing, because there are different rights for Palestinians compared to Israelis. This is just the reality of the situation for Palestinians. So Bassem Youssef's point is a great one. What is the civilian exchange rate that will satisfy someone like Ben Shapiro? Here's the next clip.
But the thing is, you know what? I agree with you. And you know what? I'm going to be even ahead of you because I see the question coming. Do you condemn Hamas for the atrocity? Yes, I condemn Hamas. I condemn Hamas. Hamas is the source of all evil. They are the reason for everything. And you know what? Let's, for a minute, imagine a world without Hamas.
Right.
What will this world look like? Let's give this word a name. And let's name this word the West Bank. Hamas has absolutely no control in the West Bank. And since the beginning of this year, only through August, 37 Palestinian kids were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. Since the occupation of the West Bank, 7,000 Palestinians were killed. No music festival, no paragliding, no Hamas. I can go on and on and on and on.
This is such a brilliant point. The fact that Israel and its allies are using Hamas as an excuse for whatever the hell Israel decides to bomb in Gaza. Discussing the West Bank and the fact that Hamas does not control the West Bank. Here is the West Bank. Again, we're talking about different rights depending on if you're Palestinian, if you're Israeli. I covered in my, I think 2 videos ago, discussing a lot of the checkpoints that only Palestinians have to go through. Just completely different rights, different ability to be able to go to different places, depending on if you're Palestinian or Israeli. And on top of that, the people killed in the West Bank, even though not controlled by Hamas. What's the excuse there? And this stuff does not make as much news as when Hamas commits atrocities. So UNICEF here. This is from May 2022. 13 Palestinian children killed in the West Bank since January 2022. So halfway through the year, 13 Palestinians killed in the West Bank alone. This was just this past summer, June 29th. Israeli killing a 15-year-old Palestinian girl in the West Bank. Did you see every politician have to come out and condemn these actions? No, this didn't make headline news. This is from August 28th, about 2 months before Hamas's attack. West Bank spike in Israeli killings of Palestinian children. Did this make headline news? Did Biden have to come out and condemn these actions by the Israeli government? And since since the atrocities committed by Hamas, so this is from October 14th, Israeli forces killed 7 Palestinian boys in the occupied West Bank last night into today. The 7 Palestinian children between the ages of 14 and 17 years old were killed in the context of the demonstrations across the Israeli-occupied West Bank, including East Jerusalem, as Israeli forces increasingly use intentional lethal force in violation of international law to repress Palestinian protests. So this is 7 just since the attacks. And I believe there's actually more than this. Again, this is from the 14th. This is 4 days ago. But we're talking about the West Bank, not controlled by Hamas. What is the justification? Let me get to the next clip.
I heard Ben Shapiro and I heard Ron DeSantis, and they said Israel is the only military force in the world that warns civilians before bombing them. I mean, how fucking cute. That is so nice of them. So, because with this logic, if Russian troops started warning Ukrainians before bombing their houses, we're cool with Putin, right? I mean, okay, Habibi, you have warned them, go invade. It's fine. You have done your job.
What would you think would be an appropriate response by Israel to what happened?
Well, these are years of disproportionate responses of Israel.
Right.
Did it solve the solution? Did it solve the problem? Did it work before, so it will work? What will be the surprise this time? What will be the twist that will make this work this time? What will be different this time?
Again, brilliant points all around. The comparison to how Russia is being looked at versus how Israel's being looked at. It's just, you have to look at the heart of the issue, which is the power imbalance. You have the Israeli government controlling people in an open-air prison in Gaza. The borders are closed. The civilians can't escape. The Israeli government is bombing the border between Egypt and Gaza. That border closes randomly anyways. People are stuck there as the Israeli government is bombarding the Gaza Strip. And the complete, at least in Ukraine, civilians could leave. That isn't to excuse anything, obviously. Putin is a monster. But they could leave. In Gaza, they can't even leave. They're crammed in, 2.2 million people crammed in to a small strip of land. They don't control their waters. They don't have an airport. It's wild. And yeah, his last point there, obviously, civilian deaths are from any side is not going to solve this issue. Now, I want to get to this last clip. This is Bassem Youssef bringing up a point that Piers Morgan has made on air, even though Piers Morgan goes on to deny that he has said this. And I'm going to show you back to back, 7 days ago, him saying this.
I am so glad in the introduction that you mentioned the Iraq war. I applaud you, Piers, for saying that, because you were honest about it. You said that spreading lies like WMDs make people look at those people as less of humans, and they would accept the death of 1 million Iraqi, whether by sanctions or by invasion, right? You are a good man. This is amazing. And you know what is similar? Is when you spread the lies of 40 decapitated babies, although it was refuted. So what happens when people hear that, killing babies is horrible. But when you say decapitated 40 babies, you are planting a certain image
who has
with a
said
certain
that?
trigger in people's mind.
Who has said that? Who has said 40?
Who has said that? You have said
that?
40 decapitated.
Who has said that?
You have repeated.
No, I haven't.
What?
I've never said that.
You haven't said on your show 40 decapitated babies?
Never. I choked up earlier reading this new revelation about 40 babies being killed.
Oh my God.
And some of them being beheaded. And I was like, how can any human being do that to a baby?
I don't know. I don't know. It's totally barbaric. It's not the sort of thing a human being does.
No.
It's an animal.
That point there, made by Joan Collins on October 11th, when Piers Morgan clearly said what Bassem Youssef was claiming Piers Morgan said, that point made by Joan Collins about them being animals, that is the exact reason why propaganda, completely made up stories like that are spread. It's a way to dehumanize all Palestinians as a way to excuse whatever response that the Israeli government has to Gaza. Does Piers Morgan not know the internet exists? Like this guy over and over and over again has been made fun of, has been clowned. Like I think he enjoys it at this point, because the people he has on can be good guests. I mean, they're often terrible guests, but they can be good guests, like Bassem Youssef, and just completely run circles around Piers, and Piers doesn't appear to care. So, for him, this goes to my ultimate point about Piers Morgan. It's all about the entertainment. It doesn't matter, facts, whatever. Sometimes there's facts, sometimes there's not. To him, it's whatever. His focus is the entertainment. Can he get the clicks? And he definitely gets the clicks. This interview with Bassem Youssef has, as I'm looking at it now, 6.5 million views. So people are coming to Piers Morgan's channel to watch this interview, 30-minute interview, and watch him get absolutely clowned over and over again by Bassem Youssef. So go check out the full thing if you want. I'll link to it below in the description box under sources. Also worth mentioning here that a lot of these videos discussing these sorts of atrocities, like the ones you just heard, are demonetized. So if you want to support the show, there are ways to support the show below this video, either through Patreon. TheRationalNational.com/join gets you to the Patreon page. That's the best way to support me. You can also support through PayPal donation or YouTube membership as well. But those links are all below the video in the description box on YouTube. Any support is welcome. I'm going to continue covering this issue as it's ongoing. There's a lot to cover, but it's great to have at least, I don't know, some levity at some moments here with Bassem Youssef and his ability to really communicate this very serious issue through comedy.